Welcome back to the watercolor play series. Today we're going to be working with resistant mediums with watercolor. So obviously watercolor is a really flowing medium. It pushes the boundaries, it goes over the edge. So we're going to play with what happens when you bring in a resistant medium, something that really holds its shape, holds its line, and holds its boundary. If you haven't met me, I'm Mary Helen. I'm a transpersonal art therapist and artist, and I help people reclaim joy through creativity. So welcome to today's exploration. Let's get started. You need a bit of watercolor card. Mine's 300 GSM, nice and thick. Any sort of watercolor will do for today, and you can probably get away also a little bit with just some thick card for today. But ideally you have watercolor card. I've got a paintbrush, some water, my paint palette of watercolor, but you can use any type of watercolor, and I've got a pencil just to write down what I'm doing. You can use a really big piece of paper. I'm just using a tiny one. So today we're using resistant mediums, so I'm going to write that in. Resistant, let's call it resistant play. That makes it funner. And then I've got some resistant mediums. So I have an oil pastel. Look at that. Absolutely stunning fluoro orange. I've also got a tea light candle. I'm not sure exactly what the tea light candle will do, but I'm going to give it a go anyway, because today we play with watercolor. Let's get started. So the first thing to do would be to kind of randomly, and I say randomly, so I'm switching to my non-dominant hand, kind of randomly put in some marks on the page. So just scribble it out. Remember, this is a play session, so don't be too precious. Okay, and then I want to know what this does. So I'm going to use my dominant hand only because, oh no, am I? No, I'm going to switch to my non-dominant hand. I'm just going to rub it in. This will be very surprising because I can't quite see what it does. You could just use one resistant medium. And when we think of resistant mediums, there's a lot you can use. But I'm sticking with, I guess, waxy, oily things today. All right, so I've put that in. I can see it's kind of mixed a little bit. So I've got my resistant mediums. Time to add the water. So I love these videos because they're just nice and quick, right? You just need to sit down, have a little bit of a play with watercolor, and I'm here to hang with you. So I am loving blue, and I can see it's already activated. And I'm gonna go on top. Big, generous stroke. Ooh la la. I'm gonna just tumble my brush around. See, I'm not painting an image here. I'm really just having a play. Yeah, that's really revealing where the tea candle was. Tumble, tumble, tumble. So now I'm going to add just a bit more water to wash it out a bit. And then maybe I'm going to come in with a little bit of orange, just to see. I'm just curious. So if you watched the last video, which was about wet on wet, I've just kind of applied a little bit of wet on wet. And again, I can be moving this, and look what happens. Aha! The oil pastel is acting as a little boundary that the watercolor can't move past. So it's been contained, and I've made a little lake, I guess. Yeah. Now, as always, meaning in this series we need to hurry up and wait, meaning that we've got to step back and let our watercolor do some drying so we can actually see how it turns out. So we will come back and have a look at this in a little bit, but yeah, I'd love to know how you went with yours and how it's turning out for you. So that's a bit of resistant play with oil pastel and our tea light candle. So let's let it dry and we'll come back and see how it turned out. Alright, so we're dry. So that was the resistant play with oil pastel, and just look at what's happened at those edges with the resistant. So we had the oil pastel and we also had the tea light candle wax, and just seeing all those details of interactions of those mediums. And then also the colours, because I added in more than one colour. So that was the resistant play. And I can imagine using different colours would produce different results. Yeah, and it's just a fun one to see what happens. But yeah, when it's dry, amazing. Look at that, looks like a little face coming out. I wonder what you can see in your artwork. You can take a happy snap and send it to me at Mark and Movement on Instagram. I'd love to see what you created. Make sure you like this video and subscribe, and definitely check out the other videos on watercolor play in this series. Thanks so much for hanging out and doing this with me, and I hope you had a great time.